Welcome to the Postcards from Palisade podcast. I'm Lisa McNamara. Palisade is most famous for its peaches, but there's so much more happening in our little town. Join me as I chat with our community members to hear about how they're making Palisade a great place to live and visit. Today I'm joined by my friend and business partner, Corinna Scott. Corinna and I started Peachy Pedicab, a pedicab tour company, in March of this year, after both going through what could probably be described as our own independent midlife crises. Peachy Pedicab offers all kinds of tours, wine, farm, and history, along with the pedicab shuttles and rides. Corinna is the main driver, and I take care of more of the behind-the-scenes business type stuff. Corinna and I drove to Salt Lake City and back in a day to pick up our first pedicab earlier this year. Listening back to our conversation, I was struck by how it basically could have been recorded from the back seat on that drive. So come right along with us as we quiz each other about the nerdy things we geek out over, the challenging and fun parts of starting our own business, our life-changing float through the gates of Lador, Palisade history, travel hacks, and lots more on today's Postcard from Palisade. Corinna Scott.
Lisa McNamara.
Today we're talking about something that we both should know a lot about because it's our new business.
Yes. Peachy Pedicab. Here we are.
Tell me about why you wanted to start a pedicab business.
It really combines like all the things I love the most. Palisade, riding a bike, talking. Most specifically talking about, like telling people about this town. I love this town. I always have. So it's just super fun. And it's wine tours, so people are enjoying themselves. I feel like I understand and recognize that my pedicab experience is very different than a lot of other pedicab drivers, right? Like most pedicabs are really popular in big cities. Mm-hmm. And I rode a pedicab 20 years ago, probably more than that actually at this point. Yikes. And, I think I paid $20 all that time ago to go 3 blocks in New York. And It was... I wasn't scared, but I'm pretty sure a few of the other passengers were. But, I've always been, not that it's a daredevil-y thing. In New York City, it was definitely way more daredevil-y than it is out on these peachy streets.
Yeah. No, it's a totally different scene. Like
in
New York, it's maybe a novelty or a weird way to get 3 blocks away and spend $100. And here in Palisade, it's a great way to spend the whole day exploring our town.
Yeah, for about $100.
For about $100.
Hours. The cost ratio, I think we got them beat there, but yeah. So it's just super fun. I think most people are aware that I rode for another company for several years, and I just loved it. And I am going to be 45 years old in a few weeks. It was time to, I've always had a real corporate job. My background is real super corporate-y. I worked for banks when I was 16, and I love this. So if I'm going to do something that I love, my parents are both small business owners, so I think it's really in my blood, but I was just always so scared because I didn't have the safety net of that corporate structure. And it, to be fair, is a little unnerving to not have such a structured day, so to speak, on the days that I don't have tours or, it's not busy or whatever. But I got to do it. I have to believe in myself. I feel like I've always prided myself on doing a good job at whatever it is that I'm doing. So if it's what I love and I'm working for me, then it's a whole other level. So yeah, I'm excited. I get asked a lot what I'm going to do in the off season. We haven't gotten that far yet. So, right. We'll work on that when we get there. I got some ideas. I'll be fine. Yeah. But yeah, I just love it.
I felt the same way. I was always working in that corporate structure, working a lot of time for banks and corporate real estate and all this stuff. And I'm just I'm really good at it, but I do not care about it. And at a certain point in your life, it's wait, why am I spending all my time? Okay, money is nice, but why am I spending all my time doing something that I hate every day? I had quit my job with the idea of starting my own business. And what I was thinking I was going to do, I just couldn't get excited about. So when you were thinking about starting, and then I was wait a second, I think we could work really well together because I think we have a really good complementary skill set and personalities.
I would have never done this without you. Truly.
Well, same.
But I would have never, I know what I'm not good at. I know what I'm capable of being good at, but what really just sometimes I'm just not. And you're so good at that stuff. And, and I know you just have such a good base background. Like, I get so many compliments on our logo.
Yay.
And you literally, I was like, I want a wheel and a peach, and I put a flower on the peach. There has to be a blossom. And you just took it and made like the cutest little thing.
It was pretty literal. It was a pretty literal interpretation. It's literally a peach with a flower and a wheel.
You still like made, you don't give yourself enough credit, because I know you just say it is, but you were like, okay, here's 7 options. Do you want, and within a week, if that, 4 days.
I'm having a good time.
No, right, I still am. Like obviously we've learned a lot about maintenance and stuff, and I've always tried to approach everything as very much just take it as a lesson, right? No losses, only lessons.
What were you most scared about coming into it?
Just the unknown, and it still is a little bit of that, right? And now we're at a point where we're growing, which is great. So we have to what are we going to do? We have option A and we have option B. And I feel like I'm constantly, I'm at the eye doctor and I'm like, A, B. Oh, no, B looks better. Oh, no, wait, let me see A again. Oh, I don't know. I know. So it just a little bit of the unknown.
Yeah, that is hard to figure out. That's definitely something I was worried about hurting our friendship. And that was my biggest fear. But now that we're kind of into it and I think things are going well, and I also agree as how do you grow in a sustainable way that keeps you healthy and happy, and also it keeps the quality of what we do good. It keeps it's really hard to say, because everybody's like, girl, why aren't you doing more? Why aren't you bigger already? Why don't you have people working for you?
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I don't want to mess this up.
Yeah. And I don't, right. And I'm a dreamer, man. I always have, my dad teases me. I live everything on a wing and a prayer, which I don't know that that's necessarily great, but I fell in love with this place and I wanted to move here and I made it happen. And so I know in my core, if I dig down deep enough, I can always get it done if I need to. And I was worried about our friendship too, but I think once we got past the initial, how are we going to structure it? Everything feels, not to whatever, but it just feels like we've gotten the business side of it very black and white. So there isn't much confusion, or not confusion, but I don't know. I feel like we've taken out a lot of the areas that there could be tension. So I'm excited.
Same.
What do you think a common misconception of pedicabs is?
Ooh, good one. I think it's that, well, number one, it's people who have been to New York and seen them, and they're just it's really expensive. The people who drive them are, let me think of a polite word.
Maniacal?
Misfits. Yeah, maniacal misfits.
Feral?
Yes. Which, you are a little bit.
I am. I call myself that. I tease all the time that my mom's you raised you were feral.
But maybe just a little shady. And I think that I really do think, because most of the time that you see a pedicab, it is in a place like New York, and it's kind of hustling. They're kind of hustling.
No, absolutely.
A little bit.
Yeah, no, I 100%. Yeah, the days where it's just festival times and you're riding around just hey, what you doing? You're hot, huh? You want to get on the cab? I'll give you a ride.
Yeah.
Even with that, it's very different than trying to get somebody who's just walking down the street who probably isn't really going that far and is used to walking,
right.
Or whatever. Yeah. I guess it is very touristy for New York. And I say New York only because that's where I've ridden. But, we've met some really cool people that are from all over the place, and maybe they ride in a big city, Denver or New Orleans. That's where they're based out of, but then they do a lot of festivals, and that's the festival scene is where a lot of pedicabbers, pedicab companies, I guess, make the bulk of their money. Most people aren't as locked into one location as we are.
Yeah.
And
when you say festivals, you mean the big ones.
I mean big ones,
Coachella and
Bonnaroo. Yep.
Well, and I feel like that's too why when I tell people about it, or when we talk about it online, or we kind of advertise it, I call it a pedicab tour company, because I think the tour part is what you bring to it that's different. And so you're bringing that kind of guided trip visit knowledge to the whole experience. So It's really not it's not just about transportation. That's not where we bring the most value to people. It's
Yeah.
like the tour part of it.
Yeah, no, I would agree
guide.
with that. Because I've had people where I show up and they booked a wine tour or they booked a ride to dinner and, you know, I pull up and I'm like, hey, and they're like, oh, we had no idea it was like a rickshaw bike. And I'm like, oh, well, hop aboard. Here we go. And I mean, they loved it. It was fine. But
That's funny.
I think the term pedicab, I don't know, because I always knew what it was, right? Like, because the first time I ever saw it, I visually had a connection. Like, it never occurred to me that it's such a term. But I've had people, I always have to say rickshaw. If I say rickshaw a lot of times, then they'll understand what I'm talking about. But I just wondered if you got the same thing I did, because that day when I pulled up there, I was like, it was funny. It was a moment.
No,
cute.
definitely in telling,
cute
because
couple.
all my family's in upstate New York, so like their experience is like going to the city, going shopping. So telling them about what we're doing, they're like, oh, okay, okay, all right, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what are you doing? Are you riding a bike?
Yeah.
Let me get Lisa on a bike one of these days, but that is not.
I don't know about that one.
I mean, well, you know, just a little loop around the block.
Maybe.
So then you can say you did it. And when somebody says, oh, do you ride the bike? You can be like, I did. I have.
I did.
I have.
Once.
So upstate New York, what was your first job?
My first job? Oh, if you don't count babysitting.
Yes. Let's not count babysitting,
Okay.
because I agree that that's most of ours first job.
Yeah.
How many of the Babysitter Club books did you read?
Oh, like all of them.
Okay, good.
I
Me
loved
too.
them.
Loved
and you know
them.
what I always did? So even this is when I started babysitting when I was 12. This is a side note.
Yeah,
but
I love it.
you know me. I was always like, why can't I be as good as they are?
I know. They bring board games and they have like
toys.
a whole but I also, so you grew up in a small town. I grew up in a small town.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't grow up in a neighborhood. Like, luckily, actually, the kids that lived across the street who are now full-fledged adults, and it's so weird to think that I babysat them. Those ones, actually, I didn't even watch that much. But I had, like, a brother, sister. They were friends of my parents. But it was, like, far away. These girls lived, like, in, like, suburbia, where they were like, I'm going to ride my bike over to Billy's house.
Yeah. Oh, no. Mine were, like, I lived in the middle of the woods in a log cabin. And, yeah, it would always be, like, driving.
Yeah.
Or just doing, like, babysitting for the PTO at the school. And all the people who came to PTO meetings all their kids would be dumped in a room. And I would have to,
Oh, my goodness.
like, when I was 12.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot.
And so that says something about why I didn't want to have kids. But anyway, my first actual job.
Yes.
Well, I think it was at the grocery store, but now I'm kind of like doubting myself. But I was a cashier at our local grocery store, which was like a half an hour away from our house. And I loved it. It was so much fun because I loved everything about it. I especially loved ringing up coupons, and I loved bagging groceries.
Lisa, that's so fun. I don't know that we've ever talked about this.
I don't think we have.
I mean, I worked on babysitting and I worked on a farm, but like my first, like, other than the farm, was at a grocery store, was at Acme. And I also, like, I don't know that I loved the coupons. I liked knowing the code. You know, I'm such a nerdy numbers girl.
The vegetable codes?
Yes.
And the fruit
like
codes?
I still, now when I don't have to look, like if I can remember that green peppers is 40.65, I like give myself a little high five. Like bananas is the one I'll never forget.
4011. I'll never forget that one.
4011
That one's
forever.
always in there. Yeah, and I got the pepper, but I think I forgot all the other ones so far.
Yeah, those are pretty much because and one how they all have the
most common.
barcodes. I also used to remember people's phone numbers, and I think I would be in so much trouble right now if I had to. I mean, other than my own number, I don't know. I know, like my parents, and they just got rid of the landline a few years ago. I was devastated. I was like, I don't have 932 tofu anymore. I had to remember all your numbers.
So your first job was also at a grocery store.
It also was at a grocery
that's
store.
funny.
I was going to say, like, what did you learn from that other than, like, couponing is can be prolific and profitable?
Yeah, just good math skills, I
Yeah,
think.
man.
Honestly, math skills and also social interaction skills.
Yeah.
Because I don't necessarily think I had that. And it's like being forced to interact with adults. And a lot of them, I mean, some of them were a little bit, like, I don't want to say this right. There would be some characters, and learning how to politely deal with people was a huge thing that I took away from that, and also fitting things into bags.
Yes.
Not putting all the tin cans in one bag.
It's funny. I was going to ask you, one of your travel hacks, because I know that you are an incredible, like I tell my tour groups, I don't know that Lisa realizes how much I talk about her to my people. Like as soon as I like identify the planner of the group, I'm like, you are my Lisa, and everybody needs a Lisa.
No, I mean, that's just like something from traveling so much for work. Well, and also we spent all that time living out of our vehicle for 2.5 years. So for me, it's always like, what is the least amount of things you can get away with?
Yes.
And what's the lightest you can travel? That's when I feel the best, is when I have all the essentials and nothing extra.
Do you think that you could, in a, well, let's just say a standard carry-on suitcase,
Okay.
right? Like carry-on size, not checked bag size, carry-on size. Do you think you could live out of that bag for
A week.
Sorry. Do you think it could just be a week?
Yeah.
Is that how long it is? I was going to ask you if you thought you could live out of it for a full season.
I mean, if I had access to a laundromat, yes.
Yeah, no, right.
But I know I can do a week, actually, because that's what I do, is I take that size bag and then I do like a backpack, like a personal item. And so I know I can do that in a week without repeating any clothes.
Okay. Not bad. How about hotel travel hacks? You've stayed in a lot of hotels. Oh,
gosh.
Is there anything like you always pack other than just like the...
No, I usually honestly mess up hotel things because I swear I either don't pack shampoo and they don't have it, or I don't pack conditioner and they don't have it, or I'll pack one and they won't have the other, or they'll have it in the shower and it'll be broken and I will forget to test it until the morning when I'm already wet in the shower. So I feel like I actually kind of mess up hotel things.
So only outdoorsy stuff, you know.
Yeah,
every
I'm
time.
good with that.
Perfect.
I mean, I know exactly all the things to bring, but like hotels, I expect to have like a baseline level of stuff there, and then it isn't. So the best hotel travel hack I ever learned from somebody else, though, is when you have the curtains and they don't quite meet in the middle.
Yes.
And you get that stupid beam of light, and it always is shining right in your eyeball. Mm-hmm. So you can take one of those hangers that has the two pinchers on the end.
Oh, and fold it over. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Take the pinchers and pinch the two curtains together and like close it up.
Smart.
So that was like one of those things that I learned pretty early on, and like that made such a big difference because I don't know what it is, but that light, there's always a light,
and it's always right on your face.
Eyeball.
Yes, it is right here, directly across.
So
not here or here, right here.
Yeah. And then I also, so here's the other weird one. Is you'll see my light sensitivity. Another one of my old coworkers, I'd be complaining about like the light that comes in under the door from the hallway. She's like, oh, just take an extra towel or take your foot towel and roll it up and jam it in the crack. And she's like, in bonus, if there's a fire, that's just one of the smoke entry points. I'm like, those are two of the things I actually always do in a hotel.
I like it. See, I knew you would have something that I hadn't thought of. I had seen the light thing. Actually, I think my mom used a binder clip on it one time.
Yes,
and
that
then
works too.
I like the towel thing. That's also probably good for like, I don't know, especially as a woman, like when traveling alone, safety is always the thing. And I know that they make a bunch of those little like random things you can like whatever, but I don't travel enough for that to like have ever been so. But if you have a thing jammed under the door and somebody tries to open it, it's going to take them a second longer.
Yeah, that also brings another weird thing that I do. I don't think about these weird things I do because I haven't traveled for work for a little while, which is a great, wonderful thing, is because of that. Like I thought about getting one of those lock things that locks when you're inside, but then I was like, I feel like there are ways around that too. So I put 2 hangers on the doorknob. Because my thinking is if somebody turns the doorknob, especially if it's one of those like lever ones, they'll fall on the floor and wake me up, right? Yes. The 2 hangers will, and it'll scare the person away.
Clearly, the hangers are going to terrify them.
So that's my alarm.
Yes. I like it. I mean, I would hope that the like chain, Yeah. Yeah, that's funny.
Okay, all right. We're getting off on such a tangent here, but obviously, these are the weird, this is the overthinking that has always made me a really good project manager, if I may say so.
Yes. No. You have handled this project beautifully. Me, a work in progress.
No, stop it.
And then who would you say, or like personal or even public persona, had the most influence on like your work ethic or mindset?
Ooh.
I just say who
like
because...
Stumper. I don't know, Corinna.
It's okay.
I've probably like teachers and think like teachers, just the ones who really had their shit together, and you were just like this. But if I think about like growing up in a really small town, you don't have a lot of people who are your direct role models. And I mean, you could say your parents, and that's obvious, but outside of your family, yeah, I mean, there just aren't that many. Like if I think about the number of people who I came into contact with, my parents were both self-employed, and so they didn't necessarily have like customers and things like that. Yeah. So who are you really interacting with?
I would think, though, that's probably where you get... My parents also self-employed for the most part. My dad was in the union for years, but he always had, he's always been a musician on the side and owned a studio. So, a business there. But I think that probably drives your work. Like, I've always worked. I've always found a lot of value in being a hard worker. Because when you're a parent, maybe that's where it comes from. Like, I know there was a lady that I worked for at my very first job at that grocery store. She was mean. She was so tough. But if you did your job right, she didn't have anything to say. And that's like, I just remember, like, just do your job. I'm not intimidated by too many people, but, as a 14-year-old, 15-year-old girl, that was a whole different story. And man, Judy was rough. Yeah. But I did my job. I never had any issues. I left there and went to a bank like as soon as I could drive over the state line, 30 minutes away to the home of banking in Delaware. But I worked for her for a couple of years, and I arguably like have adopted a little bit of that. But like I am tough. Like I've managed people, and I expect like if I know what you can do, I was never. I hope. As mean as like she could just be like just mean but I think it was also a different time where you could just make nasty comments, stupid, just mean, what is very much bullying comments. It would not be acceptable in 2025, but in 1994 was a whole different
That's how they whipped
world.
us into shape.
That's right.
This is the first time I didn't put together a question list ever.
See, I was so nervous. I wouldn't I would just be here like, so why did you decide to do this?
Well, that's how I feel right now, because that was my first question.
Well, I mean, right, but that was...
Well, let me ask you one.
Okay.
So I'm curious what you thought about me the first time we met. I believe it was the third week that I was even living here. And we went to a bike ride, and I think it was the second bike ride that I went to. Yeah. I don't remember if I saw you or met you on the first one, but on the second one, you pulled up alongside me when we were biking in front of like the storage units. I remember exactly where we were.
I do too.
And you were like, "Hey, have you ever done the Kokopelli Trail?" And I'm like, no, what's your name? And I just like, I love that. And this is one of the things I like so much about meeting people here. People don't usually start with, what do you do? Or, which is one of the questions where I'm like, when people ask me first, what do I do? I immediately like shrink up, or before, when I didn't like what I was doing. Right. I don't want to talk about that. I kind of like would pull in and just kind of start on a negative.
That's not how you identify.
Exactly. That's not how I identify. Right. It's like, that's how I make money. Like, this is how I make a living. But it is not necessarily like the first thing I want to talk about with somebody. Yeah. So many people here start with, what do you do for fun? Or what did you do this weekend? Or what trips do you have coming up?
Yeah.
So,
have you been on the river?
Exactly. Yes. So that was kind of my first intro to like, how do people in Palisade welcome other people? And it's like, hey, have you gone on this crazy adventure that's like a 5-day unsupported mountain bike ride?
No, we got Polly Walnuts. He'll support us.
Yeah, I know. And I'm like, no, but I'm really like impressed that you think I could do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. I remember it too. And I'm pretty sure it's funny because I think I had been talking to Paul. Like, okay. I might have pulled up next to you, but like in the way that we were riding, I feel like I was like pointing some random history thing out to Paul, right? Probably. As you do. As I do, as I want to do. And then I probably, because I had just, I'm sure I think about the Kokopelli Trail all the time. I thought about it this morning. I still want to do it. I still think we can do this. I don't think that we have to worry about doing it unsupported. We got this. Impossible. We'll talk about this later. We can do it. I do remember that it was on that stretch of road. So fast forward, so then 3 or 4 rides later, it's Halloween ride, and Paul is a hot dog. And you were like, he's always a hot dog. It's just like his thing. He's always a hot dog. Like, it was the most normal thing in the world. I mean, you said it very like cheeky, you know, and it's cute. And it was really cute then. It still is adorable.
He's still a hot dog.
But
3 years later.
You just, the way you said it, I was like, I love this girl. Like, of course he's just a hot dog. I love this town for so many reasons, but the people that it draws in, I think all have a very similar mentality. I think a lot of us love learning. Yeah. So moving to a new area is really cool, especially when it's an area that has so many different, wonderful, little vibrant parts of it that, like, you could be a peach expert and not know anything about nectarines, or like then you could learn about apricots, or, you know, like, I mean, they're all in the same stone family, but like I know more about stone fruit in the last 5 years. And it's incredible. Like, I grew up, it's not like I didn't grow up around, you know, but they farmed corn across the street. I grew up in a small town. This is a small town. It's a very different feel because of, it's not 2 hours from New York City, but it's also like, so many things about it are the same. And like, I love that Palisade, for the most part, I feel like really tries to, you know, the people who live here really care about maintaining that really charming. This is, you know, people tell me all the time, like, this is like Hallmark, and I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
Don't tell anybody.
I know. And that's a weird balance too, exactly, with having a business that's based around bringing people in, and all the same way, I don't want my trails to get too crowded either.
Yes. So. Right. I think I'm always very honest with people. They're like, this is amazing, I want to move here. I'm like, yeah, it'll do that to you. And they're like, so, and I'm like, yeah, it'll do that to you. And if they do, phenomenal, you know, but like, I didn't grow up in wildfire area, and, you know, like, this is the second fire we've had that's gotten this close in the time that I've lived here.
Yeah. We have been lucky the last few years that we haven't had any fires for like 5 years. So
yeah, it's since 2020, right?
Yeah. The big giant one. Yeah. So we've been lucky, and every summer I've been like, okay, we
made
got
it
through
another one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There are always downsides to anywhere you are. And I think that's a thing that's sure to set you up for disappointment. If you came in here thinking it actually is like a Hallmark community or a Hallmark card, or like, there are always going to be things about a place that are less than positive.
Yeah. Right. I mean, this is an expensive area. It's not getting any cheaper. I get it. It's, if you work hard, you deserve to be able to live and where, at the same time, my industry that I did back east just doesn't exist here.
Right.
You know, I moved here before working at home was such a huge thing. So it was like, now I'm just going to make the best of it. I don't, long term, I still don't own a home in Palisade. And if that ever happens, I'm not sure. But, you know, I still love it. It's an amazing place. I think we both have a pretty big love of Palisade history. I like to tell the real cutesy kind of stories. Not that I don't know more of them, but I like to call them like the 10-cent stories. If I was back in the day, that's the story that I'd be like hawking the top of if I was an old paper boy. I don't know. But anyway, but if you could interview a Palisade historical figure, have you ever thought of this?
Yeah.
I mean, you know enough about Palisade history. Like, who would you interview from the early days, like like 1930, 1940?
Well, that takes I was going to say Wayne Aspinall, but that takes that out.
Oh, no.
Because
when he was in
like
50-something?
Yeah. And he seems like, I mean, honestly, I probably would personally, like, dislike him, but I think he seems like such a divisive, important character for Palisade.
Yeah.
And I say that because he was known to be kind of a jerk.
I have heard stories of that. Yeah, as you know, I like to read the old Tribunes.
But then you wonder, you're like, how much of that was really true? So I think that would be really interesting. Plus, he was probably the most famous resident of Palisade ever of all time. So, but if I were to go back before that and say, like, some of the first residents of town about what life was like here, how did it actually work, and
like, how did they end up?
Yeah, and were they here just for survival reasons, or did they actually like it here? You know?
Yeah.
How about you?
I want to talk to the first member of the Priscilla Walker family. Priscilla is such an amazing, like, strong woman. Like, I would love to see the people that raised her. And also, this is like one of my fun facts. Fun fact, the Wine Valley Inn on the corner there of First and Alberta Carmine, whose last name always escapes me, was one of the first. I think he's the guy that built it, but I'm pretty sure it's the guy that built it, or he lived there very, very early on, was responsible for a part of the radiator on the Model T Ford. So, like, had he not invented this radiator component, the Model T Ford would not have been able to run. Like, they wouldn't have been able to cool the engine, you know. There's a couple, like, the peach picking baskets and stuff like that are, like, cool, but that's, like, very, like, Palisade cool. Like, you know, how would these guys do this if they didn't have these, like, the stilts? Like, how would they have done it? I think it's still really cool. But, yeah, the Model T Ford guy.
Yeah,
I think
that's fascinating.
You know, this area has a very interesting history. I don't know. I've always... Yeah. My grandfather watched a lot of Westerns. You know, like I've always, the Western culture, and maybe because I was an East Coast kid. Yeah. I don't know, maybe Western kids that grew up in the West dream of New York City. I didn't dream of New York City. Well, I did for a little while, but I got over it real fast. I got over that one. To be fair, you know what, if I'm being honest and a little bit heavier than podcast demands, 9/11 probably helped me get over New York City. Mm-hmm. You know, because I was 21 when that happened, and I still wanted to move there. Like for a little while after that, that's when I worked at an investment firm in Wilmington, Delaware. Morgan Stanley. They had a huge New York presence. They had also lost a ton of people in the World Trade Center. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't know if that's what it was, or you know, it's fun when you're in your early 20s to think about living in the big city. I've always been a small town girl, so maybe that's why it, like that dream quickly was like no.
Yeah. No, I definitely had that dream too. And even after, because I was 20, then I was still in college and still wanted to move to New York. And I don't think it was really fun being in a city in my 20s. In Chicago, it was really fun. Like I would never change that. But I also definitely aged out of it. Yeah. And I think part of it is just like people, your friends, they meet other people, they have families, they move away, and then you're always starting to like trying to make new friends and over. And at one point I just realized this is how it's always going to go. And yeah, it just gets exhausting. It took me longer. It actually took me until 2 years ago until I finally let go of that regret of never having moved to New York City after college.
Interesting.
When I had that job there. And I just spent so much time there and I'm like, this is a very hard place to live. Yeah. Yeah. This would be really difficult and unpleasant. Yes. So it's a good place to be in your 20s.
Yeah. I love this little swatch of land. But yeah, I think maybe it is what you don't grow up with. I grew up in the middle of the woods like you did. So, mm-hmm. But I also could see it. So it's this I couldn't see. Yeah. You know, like I had family and we visited out here every once in a while. I actually lived out in Reno when I was a little kid. Mm-hmm. So like I had been out here, but not like, I don't know.
Yeah, not as an adult.
Not as an adult. Right. And, you know, like I still have daydreams that involve Western themed things. You know, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know
you know, it's just, I love it here.
Me too. Lately, at the bike rides, I've met a bunch of people who have just moved here. I've met 4 different couples who have just moved here in the last few weeks.
Oh, that's awesome.
I know some of the old timers, I don't know if I'll ever get like this, maybe I will someday, are like, don't let any new people in. But I think part of what keeps living here interesting is that new people do keep coming and they keep bringing their new ideas and they keep bringing like new experiences and things with them. Yes. So I love meeting the new people who keep moving in.
I do too. And I think it has to be a healthy, there's enough people that have decided that they're getting older, mm-hmm. they don't want to maintain a bigger property, mm-hmm. or families get bigger and want more space. Like a lot of the houses in Palisade aren't, they're not huge houses. Tiny. Like these are, not that all of them are, there's certainly the option for bigger homes and, but like, I think that is an important part of a healthy community is just going to happen. People get different jobs and have to move away
or they grew up here and they hated it and they just could not wait to move to the middle of nowhere in upstate New York.
Yes. Happens so frequently. Yeah. I have 2 fun questions left. I'm going to ask you both of them first so that you have time to think about the first one. How about that? Okay. All right. If you had to pick a theme song for Peachy Pedicab, what would it be?
That's right.
So there's one. You can think about that. But what trivia topic? So here we are. Final Jeopardy. Ooh. What trivia topic would you risk it all on? What obscure...
Okay, so first of all, I never risk it all on anything because I'm too risk averse. So I don't know how good of a business partner that's going to make me long term, but
No, this
I
is
would
why,
risk
because I'll risk everything all the time. This is why I need Lisa, y'all. This is why I need her.
I doubt my knowledge on things, so I would risk a large majority of my winnings, which I assume would be ginormous.
Yes, of course.
On like geography.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just like, I'm like a weird geography nerd. So if that came up, I'd be like, yeah. Look, and then it would probably be something totally obscure I'd never heard of before.
Yeah, no, I would bet my money if you were betting yours on geography. And if that was your topic, I'd be like, she's got this. If it was like Utah Canyon identification, I'd be like $1 million. It's not Alex anymore.
Yeah, anything Western and anything kind of related to like natural history in the West, I would feel pretty good about, or world geography, or like Russian literature.
Yes.
I also
love it.
Could know. Yeah. How about you?
I think not Russian literature, but if you ask me anything about the Romanov family, I could probably, that particular topic I've always been fascinated by. I have probably half a dozen books on my shelf right now. Or like third gen Toyota 4Runners.
Oh my God, yes.
Or most Toyota 4-wheel drive vehicles. I think I could probably make us some money if I was betting on my knowledge base on those. When people ask me what I'm going to do in the wintertime, I'm like, I haven't gotten that far yet, because it's also why I'm not working another job whilst trying to start a pedicab company, because I put everything into it all the time, and I don't want, like, I'm just going to put everything I have into it right now, and then we'll go from there. But that applies. I don't know how to do anything halfway, or I try not to. If I really love it, then I want to know everything about it. My people, my vehicles, whatever the topic may be. You know, like, I love the river, so I'm going to find out, oh, we're going on the river. Let me get this book. I'm going to read this whole thing backwards and forwards 9 times. Still maybe flip on a class 2. It's okay. Everybody survived. Rigged to flip. We ain't losing nothing but some sunglasses.
It was a very hard class 2.
It was, I've given myself a lot of grace on that. It was tough, and I was not rigged out properly, and that was my fault. It was, but we got it all figured. I think that probably that moment was a pretty big catalyst just in general for me. Mm-hmm. Like, once I made it through that, I almost hated what I loved the most. And so, like, being able to, like, take a step back and, like, regroup when I typically am pretty critical of myself was it was a big moment for me to know that I had the ability to, like, keep going even when stuff gets, like, crazy hard.
Yeah. And that's a really good example of that, because you have to keep going. You have to force yourself. There is no option.
Right.
That was a really good trip.
Yeah, that was an incredible trip. No, that was definitely a life-changing trip. I still think about that a lot.
Yeah, I do too. Because I was really scared going into it. And I think we did some pretty scary stuff. And just seeing that, like, it can be okay. Whenever you go through something and you're like, the worst case thing happens, and it's okay. Yeah. You know? It's like, okay.
Yeah, like, take a deep breath. Yeah. Right. And I am often a little impulsive, let's say. So, like, knowing that I could force myself to calm down, like, I had to give myself a minute. I needed to get there, but, like, knowing that I could, like, flip my mindset the opposite way, like, I was capable of that, was really, like, that was a big moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. No, it was a great trip. And, like, as soon as we started talking about geography, I was like, how many panels do you think you've seen? How many petroglyph panels?
Oh my God,
like give me an over under. Over 100?
Oh yeah.
Over 200? You think it's somewhere in between them?
Yeah, because, well, then what
would
you
define
as a panel? Like, if
right,
you know,
like,
fucking
the section,
pedantic. I really love petroglyphs.
Yeah.
And I just really love them a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I love art, and so it's just a continuation of, I love any way that people express themselves. Music, art, any way people express themselves that is, like, not quote unquote necessary to, like, our daily existence. And I love that it's always been something that humans have done.
Yes.
And cared about. And,
yes.
And I also love the mystery. Like, we'll never know why exactly they did this stuff or what they mean. And you can only just kind of speculate. And
you can go real far on the speculations. And that's so fun. Like, We've stood around and stared at a panel and made up a story, and it's great. Like, it's such an incredible thing to be able to do from however many centuries later. Like, I think it's really cool.
And I don't want to give too much away because I don't like to give away my places, but I do think one nearby area that's super underrated that would actually be really good for more people to know about is 9 Mile Canyon. And it's like a 2.5 hour drive from the Grand Valley. And it is the best and the most rock art I've seen in my entire life. It's in Utah. It's southwest of Vernal. And it's just so under the radar. There's not a lot of information out there about it. And partly is because it kind of shares the land with like an oil and gas lease. Oh. And so that's a situation where I feel like I want more people going there to see like history so that it isn't underrated or undervisited. You know, it's not undercounted.
No, I love that.
But it's also some of the best stuff I've seen.
It's funny because I had thought of asking you where one of your favorite places is, but I also know that if you're truly an adventurer and you're going out and finding these things and like it's not fair, you know, like I don't want to like knock people for like I've certainly found amazing places because of Instagram. Right. But at the same time, like I'll never forget the first time I stopped at the Glade Park store and she was like, go up there, turn on 9 and something and go over to cattle guards. And I was like, huh, all right. So we're giving and I mean, I give directions the same way, you know, but I wanted to ask you, but then I didn't want you to feel like obligated to give away one of your secrets.
Other things I won't give away. It's like I'll show people things like where some of my favorite cacti live. Yes. And you know, I'll tell people things if they're gonna go there. But it's like natural hot springs, like really cool petroglyphs are hard to get to, like cool formations, and like part of the fun of those and the joy of those is like finding it and the adventure and the word of mouth. So I'll just say 9 Mile Canyon though, because you can drive right out to it, and I feel like it just needs more people to go see like how spectacular it is. Absolutely. So anyway,
love it.
How are you? Do you have a thing like that you're just like natural history wise you seek out?
I like rocks.
I also love rocks, and I love dirt. I like dirt that's different colors.
Yes, we've talked about this, and you know, this is one of the things where like, you know, Lisa and I want to ask questions, but we know so much. Lisa and I both love green, the cool like green that comes from the coppery dirt. There's a lot of it like out by the Cisco when you take out after Ruby Horse Thief. There's like a whole wall of it there. That's really cool. And you know, we've done enough adventuring that we've seen some really cool stuff together, lots of really cool panels. Not enough. We could do lots more. I want us to do lots more, but I mean, at this point we have now seen you know, there's some incredible hot springs that we've hit on the sides of rivers that you've got to be on the river to do it.
Those are some of the places I feel like that's the most special. Like, this is so cool that we get to do this stuff.
Those are truly the moments that I look back on like, I can't believe I live this life. You know,
okay, sorry,
you know, go ahead.
I get too excited. I'm too excited to know what's your favorite rock.
I really like, not that I've ever found one in the wild, but Colorado's, our state rock is the rhodochrosite. It's rose quartz. It's the gemmy kind of, if you took rose quartz and made it a little more gemmy, I believe that's rhodochrosite. Like they're all in the same family.
Like that?
Yes, that's it.
That's gorgeous.
And as I say, it's like the Colorado state mineral or something.
Oh my gosh.
One of my favorite spots, and I'm not giving away any secrets, is Glade Park potholes. They're kind of a pain in the butt to get to. That road is so washboarded out, but it's on a hot day, man. They're just incredible, especially if it's low water, because you can just kind of hang in the pool at the bottom. But one of my favorite parts of them is to get to them, you follow a path of rose quartz. Like there's like literally a rose quartz vein and you're like, where do I go? Oh, and you just follow this rose quartz path. And I've always thought that was really cool.
This sounds amazing. I don't know about this place.
You haven't been to Glade Park Potholes? What are you doing this afternoon? Let's go. Where's Paul? Let's go.
He's working.
Oh. No, so Glade Park is, it's the Little Dolores Creek. So it runs up on Glade Park, but it has like a little pool at the top and then it drops down. And there are 2 exceptionally deep pools. I don't know how deep they are. People cliff jump into them.
Oh, wow.
It's not very safe. Search and rescue has most assuredly gone out there more times than they would probably like to, because, you know, I love those folks. I think we rescued a dog out of there once while I was on the team. But the pools are like that heavy, deep, like quarry water is the best way I can think of describing it as a kid that grew up back east near quarries.
Like mystery water.
Mystery hole. Yeah, there was literally a place at the county park closest to where I grew up that we called the mystery hole. And they did not, they pulled a whole bunch of cars out of it that had been dumped. And, you know, they finally like put a fence up, but not until like maybe the last 15 years. But yeah, it was literally called the mystery hole. That's hilarious.
I feel like those are one of the things like quicksand that loomed large as like the most terrifying places.
Yeah, and then I moved out here and found quicksand.
But no, like the pits at quarries were one of the places that were just like, if you go close to it, you're basically just going to die. Like, I feel like that was what we were told growing up.
Yes, in the same way that I like warned my son about mine shafts.
Good point. But Blade Park Potholes, I did not even know about that place. I'm really excited to check it out.
We're going to go for a ride.
Yeah.
You're driving. I'm not going to be today.
Now, but yeah, let's go on a clear day.
We'll go on a clear day.
Next clear day.
Yeah.
So the song. I mean, first of all, I believe you told me that someone had already written a song.
We do have a custom-ish courtesy of Dave Smith to the tune of the Philadelphia Eagles fight song. We do have a Peachy Pedicab theme song that maybe one of our musical friends will record for me.
Maybe we can get Mr. Gary Franklin to record it.
Oh, you know, I feel like if I pout enough at some of them, one of them will do it. Jeff, Clayton, Gary.
Ooh, it would be interesting to hear everybody's different version of it too, because they'd be stylistically very different.
That's true. I like this idea. Yeah. I don't hate this idea. We'll see what we could do for that. It's a very easy song to remember, but
yeah, okay. Well,
but other than that,
to
particular.
I mean, I guess I just think about what do you play the most, and you know, you play the Queen song. I want to ride my bicycle, or Bicycle Race, right?
Yes,
is the official title. Queen Bicycle Race, just because you play that song the most, so I think of it.
Bicycle. I do.
Plus,
I do play
it's
that
you too. I want to ride my bicycle.
Yeah,
that kind of sums it up.
I think that's a good one. Yeah, I mean, I've thought of this. There's like, it's funny because I think of lines, not necessarily songs, or like, I feel like every season there's like one particular song that I just love, I fall in love with, and I play the hell out of it because it's great and I can sing it. And you know, I love music. You know, we've had a lot of fun nights of karaoke.
No, I'm retired now. That's a whole other story.
I know. I haven't.
We referred to that last time, and it's still.
We still haven't done it. I know. Yeah, it's still in the past. Like I have these like little theme songs for the year. Like this year, there's that Bruno Mars. I don't even know if it's Apartment or APT. But all I know is that like during the chorus, it's like, I'm on my way. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. I'm on my way. But like Little Boo Thing was one a couple years ago. It's still one of my best pedicab memories, I guess, or moments. Me and Aaron Russell, great guy. We're riding back. We had just dropped people off at probably base camp. I'm pretty sure it was base camp. Maybe an Airbnb out there, but I had Little Boo Thing, and we were like riding back side by side on North River Road, like, and it's late, and we had a long weekend, but you know, it was like finally had cooled off. It was dark, and we were just jamming out. It was great. It was hilarious. I don't hear that song without thinking of that particular moment. It was great.
I love
it's a good one. So that, and then, you know, like a whole bunch of like Beyonce girls, we run this girl power inspired songs.
Yes, these are all good.
But yeah.
Love it.
All right.
Cool. Well, I guess before we wrap up, let me think about, usually I think about what closing question I want to do. And so look at me being real professional. This time next year, so next July.
Yeah.
What do you think you're going to look back and say about the year?
I hope I continue to be proud of what we've accomplished. I think we're doing really good. Like, I'm trying not to push it and like expect too much of us and myself, and know that we have limitations, but that the room for growth is there, and that we have, I think, a pretty solid view of where we want it to go eventually, I hope. Mm-hmm. I hope that I don't look back and regret not. That's a tough question, Lise.
Yeah. I don't know if I have a good answer to it. I would say I want to look back and be like, damn, we did that.
Yeah, I think we're doing really good. Like, I have a call I have to return right now. Like, I got a message right at the beginning of our talk. So I feel like we're on the right track. Our hearts are in the right place. I want to do a good job. I know, you know what I mean? Like, I think both of us are hard enough workers. I trust you, and I feel like we can absolutely like be successful.
Same. Yeah. You're awesome at what you do. And
as you are.
I just want you to
As
stay happy.
I'm good.
On that note, thank you so much for talking with me. And also, I'm really excited just to keep killing it.
Me too.
Yeah.
Thanks
for your
man.
time.
I appreciate you.
You too. I appreciate you too.
You're very peachy.
Yeah. Stay peachy.
That's right.
Until next time, stay peachy. You can find out more about Peachy Pedicab at peachypedicab.com or email us at peachypedicab@gmail.com. The podcast theme music is Riverbend by Jeff Roper. Thanks for listening. With love from Palisade.